Hello and welcome back to the Wrestling Rant. WrestleMania 30 just ended literally about a minute or two ago. I'm just going to go ahead and get right into it. Good God. 6 hours. Anyways, Sunday, April 6th, 2014, from the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans, Louisiana. WrestleMania goddamn 30. The pre-show starts up with an opening video package, and then Stephanie and Triple H are there. Can't really tell where the fuck they are at first because it's all dark. Finally, they're like, welcome to WrestleMania, and lights light up and everything. They're on the stage, the official WrestleMania stage, and it's huge, the big WrestleMania logo, and the stage is wide as hell. My God, that long-ass ramp and everything. They basically just use this to show off the stage and welcome us to WrestleMania. Whatever the fuck. We cut over to the panel, and of course it's being hosted by Matthews. We've got Mick Foley, Booker T, and Shawn Michaels. And this segment only serves, Matthews says, that the tag team title match won't happen until the second hour of the pre-show. And so I'm thinking, so what's the fucking point of the first hour of the damn pre-show? There is no fucking point. Just to waste goddamn time. But anyways, they cut over to Renee Young, who is of course in the social media lounge. And then they cut back to the panel, who talk about the Andre Battle Royal. And then they show the Cena and Bray Wyatt video package. And then they cut back to the panel, who talks about the Cena and Bray match. And while they're talking, they're cut off by the Wyatt cut. And there's Harper up on the Titantron whistling. And it cuts over to Bray talking. And he cuts a promo. And then they cut away. And it goes into a video package for Taker and Brock. And then it goes back to the panel, who continue talking about Cena and Bray. And I'm guessing they fucked up, because then they go back into the same Undertaker and Brock video. And then the panel starts talking about the streak and Taker versus Brock. And I'm trying to blow through this as quickly as possible, because honestly, folks, I've got better shit to do. I'm not gonna say that there was a bad ending. I don't want to spoil that, but I gotta go make a trip to fucking Walmart, so, anyways. We cut backstage to, outside of Brock's locker room, and there's Byron Saxton, who wants to get an interview with Brock, but he gets stopped. There's Heyman comes up behind him, and says, whoa, you want to talk with Brock right now? No, you're going to talk to me. And so Heyman cuts a promo, who gives a fuck. Cutting back to the panel again, they talk about Undertaker's entrance, and how it's really intimidating, and all this other shit. Honestly, I don't really think it is, but whatever. We get another video package. This time it's kind of a recap of like every WrestleMania up to this point, and also shows some in-between shit. It also includes some footage of some of the guest hosts of Raw from the past couple of years. And we cut outside of the arena, where there's Alex Riley in a suit and sunglasses, looking like one of the Men in Black. And he starts talking with a couple of the fans outside. Yada yada, who gives a shit. We cut back to Renee in the social media lounge. Back to the panel again. And we have a new panelist who replaces Mick Foley. And he is Sean Merriman, who's a football player from the San Diego Chargers, apparently. I have no clue. I don't watch football. I don't give a fuck. But whatever. Apparently this guy's a big WWE fan. Whatever the fuck. They played the stupid commercial, the Bella's Flight Attendant Network commercial. And then we cut back to the panel talking about the title match, you know, the triple threat, Batista, Orton, and whoever wins between Triple H and Bryan. And then we get like a video package of Batista being interviewed by Booker T. I don't know what the fuck. More of the panel talking. And then they show off the Andre trophy, which had been on display during the WrestleMania XXX thing. And they even show a couple of guys, security guys, coming and grabbing it to take it, to put it into the truck, to transport it to the Superdome for the thing and everything, whatever the fuck. Then we get a video for Hogan, our host of WrestleMania, who appears a grand total of, I think, 3 times during the actual show. Then we cut over to the panel, who talks about Hogan. And then we get some hype for the tag team title match. And then we cut back to the panel again, and Shawn Merriman has been replaced with Jimmy Hart. HBK and Booker T are still there. And apparently they're going to be there for the second hour of the pre-show. And they talk about the tag team title match. And then we cut over to Renee again in the social media lounge. All she's doing is going over stupid Twitter tweets from fans and other people. She even brings up, let's see, the social media ambassador. You know, they've been doing that idiotic shit. Was, oh god, what was his name? Hugh Jackman. Yeah, Wolverine. Whatever. We get a video package about Andre. You know, how he was undefeated for 15 years and all this shit. We cut back to the panel again, where this time we have Alex Riley, Jimmy Hart, and Booker T. And they also show Lillian Garcia coming out. And we get another interview video package. This time it's of Cena being interviewed by Michael Cole. And I had to write this down because it was so fucking dumb. Cena says that his main goal is he wants to leave the WWE a better place than when he started. And I'm thinking, motherfucker, you're never gonna leave then, because ever since you've shown up, the WWE has gotten worse and worse and worse. Anyways, cutting back to the panel again, and Jerry Lawler is coming out in the background, and the panel starts talking about Cena and Bray Wyatt, and they also happen to show a recap, the beatdown of The Shield from, what was that, like a month ago, I think they said? And this segues into a new promo from The Shield, and they're like, motherfuckers, we gonna get you. You know, this is the new symbol of excellence. They're holding out their fists, their little fisty pose, you know. This is the new symbol of excellence. You know, okay. And then they show a commercial for the new Ultimate Warrior DVD that's coming out. I don't remember if I've mentioned this before, but this commercial aired during one of the Raws in the past couple of weeks. It's a new DVD, and it actually has the Warrior himself talking about stuff and actually telling the truth, you know, as opposed to, what was it, the self-destruction of the Ultimate Warrior DVD, which was basically just everybody burying him. And trust me, I've seen the DVD, they just buried him, you know. Anyways, we cut back to the panel again, and Trish Stratus has replaced Jimmy Hart, and they talk about the Divas Invitational thing, and we finally get into the fucking, oh shit. Where was the end of the first, hour? I thought I had it written down somewhere. I thought I had it written down where the end of the first hour of the pre-show was. I guess not. Could have swore I did, though. That's weird. Whatever, who cares? We're already into the second hour, if you can't tell. Right, Trish is on the panel, and they talk about the Divas Invitational, and we cut into the ring where there's Zeb Coulter, who talks, and he's like, we the people and that shit, and that segues into the Real Americans coming out. It's time for the tag team title Fatal 4-Way match. And as the Real Americans are coming out, Justin Roberts, the ring announcer, announces, this is all of a sudden going to be an elimination match. I don't remember this being announced previously. So, surprise there. I know it was going to be a Fatal 4-Way match, but I thought it was going to be like a one fall to a finish thing. But yeah, all of a sudden they've announced, no, it's going to be elimination rules. And so if either member of a team is pinned or made to submit, the entire team is eliminated and must leave. So, obviously, your normal sort of elimination tag team rules. But anyways, the Real Americans come out, and then Rybaxel comes out, and they have like a mashup of Rybax's music with like the trumpet horns and the drums from like Mr. Perfect's music, which was in Axel's music. It sounded kind of interesting. Like in a good way. Doesn't matter, the two of them still both suck. After that, the Matadors come out. And then the Usos come out. Nothing really big about the entrances, by the way. So we get the elimination match. The Real Americans versus Rybaxel versus the Matadors versus the Usos. Tag team title, Fatal 4-Way elimination match. Jey Uso and Axel start the match. There was a big dive by the Matadors. They had thrown like everybody out of the ring, and both Matadors dove out of the ring on top of them. And then, oh right. Axel was like the only person who didn't get nailed by the big dive. He had gotten thrown on a different side of the ring. He comes up, and let's see, El Torito was going to do something. Axel stopped him, threw him into the ring, and then Axel goes up to the top rope like he's going to dive on the crowd of dudes. And then I think it was I don't remember if it was... No, it was the Matadors. The Matadors get up with Axel, and they grab him like an electric chair drop. They have him like up on their shoulders. And then up comes El Torito, who senton crotch faces Axel, and they all fall backwards onto the rest of the crowd of the dudes and everything. So, big goofy spot there. And then what happens is, Jack Swagger's in the ring, and one of the Matadors goes up to the top rope, and Swagger comes running, grabs him, throws him up off the top rope, and catches him simultaneously into the ankle lock. So, it was like a super flapjack off the top rope, catching him into the ankle lock, the Patriot lock. And of course, you just took a 10-foot face drop, and you're getting sucked into the ankle lock, you tap out. So, yeah, the Matadors are eliminated. Next big spot, Ryback comes in and hits the meat hook on Swagger. I think Swagger was able to tag in Cesaro. Cesaro came in and nails the big Swiss Death uppercut on Ryback, cinches him up, hits the neutralizer, plants him with it, and Rybaxel is eliminated. And so we're down to the Real Americans and the Usos. And the Usos do a big double dive spot on top of Cesaro and Swagger. And then one of them back in the ring tries to dive on Cesaro, and of course he does the catch into the tilt-a-whirl backbreaker. And then one of the Usos goes up to the top rope, and it does the Whisper in the Wind, and he lands on both Swagger and Cesaro and takes them both out. I'm thinking, like, the two of you guys together can't catch this guy and slam the fuck out of him or something? Guess not. And then Swagger was down in the corner, and of course, one of the Usos goes to do the big running asswamp thing in the corner. But Swagger ducked, trips him, and goes into the ankle lock. There was a clusterfuck. The ankle lock got broken up. Oh yeah. Cesaro's legal. He gets double super kicked by the Usos. He's down. Both Usos go up to a top rope, across from each other. And they both come down at the same time, big double splash on Cesaro. And the Usos get the win. So the Usos retain their titles, which I did predict, because like I said, I didn't see any of these three teams beating the Usos or becoming the new champions. The crowd's dead, because like I said, they don't fucking care about the Usos. The match was nice. It was a nice match. Swagger gets back in the ring, and he's pissed off that Cesaro lost the match. Swagger's pissed. Zeb calms him down for a minute, but then Swagger goes to put the ankle lock on Cesaro. He doesn't keep it on him for long, and he stops. I guess Zeb came over, and he's like, "What are you doing? Stop." And of course, this is teasing up to what we've been wanting for a while. Zeb wants Swagger to shake hands with Cesaro. And even the crowd is like, no, because they don't fucking want it. Cesaro finally gets up, and Swagger puts his hand out, and Cesaro grabs it and they shake, but it doesn't take long because Cesaro pulls him in, trips him, into the big fucking swing. He goes around like 20 fucking times. It's ridiculous. He swings the fuck out of him, and then Cesaro leaves, and he's like, "Fuck you, I don't need you assholes anymore." So that's basically the end of the Real Americans. Thank God, because the team sucked. Swagger is boring as fuck. Zeb Coulter is an ugly, mustachioed son of a bitch, needs to go away, and Cesaro can do better on his own. Which, by the way, we'll get to that. Just keep that in mind. We cut back to the panel. Booker T, Trish, and Alex Riley, and they talk about the Real Americans. Is this the end of the Real Americans? Zeb has his hands full if he's going to try and get them back together. No, motherfuckers, this is done. Don't try and get them back together. No. We get a recap of Vicky Guerrero announcing the Vicky Invitational from Raw 2 weeks ago. And then we cut up to the panel where everybody makes their predictions for the Divas Invitational. And they also talk about Bryan and Triple H, the match. And then, that's where the pre-show finally ends. And again, I'm trying to blow through this as quick as possible because I've got 3 goddamn pages worth of notes. And we're almost at the end of the first page, by the way. So the pay-per-view starts and we get an opening video. The opening video was actually kind of interesting. It showed a lot of clips from past WrestleManias, but also spliced in with clips of current WWE superstars dancing on like Bourbon Street. You know, it's like a oh fuck, what's it called? Oh fuck's sake. The big thing that they have in New Orleans with the throwing the beads to whores and they'll fucking flash their tits and shit. What the fuck is it called? I can't remember. Jesus. Now I feel stupid. But anyways, it's like that, but there's obviously no flashing because they have to keep it PG. But it's just like, you know, like I said, WWE superstars, dancing around with all the Bourbon Street performers. You got dudes blowing fire, and I think there was an elephant, and but you see Fandango dancing with Summer, and the Bellas are dancing around, and you see a bunch of other superstars and shit. The opening video was kind of interesting, And it finally cuts into the arena. We get a big pyro display up on the stage. It's pretty awesome and stuff. And then Justin Roberts introduces Hulk Hogan, our host of WrestleMania. And he comes out, again, I don't know why, but the stupid people cheer this motherfucker. Whatever. Hogan gets in the ring and he starts talking, and immediately he botches his lines by referring to the Superdome as the Silver Dome. He tries to cover it by saying, I'm flashing back to WrestleMania 3 in Detroit, this Pontiac Silverdome. He tries to cover it, but it's stupid. And Hogan's talking, and then all of a sudden, glass shatters. And the crowd blows up because obviously it's Stone Cold. And I had to wait a minute because I'm like, there's no fucking way. Are they really going to have him come back? They got it up on the stage, the Minitron and the Titantron and everything. And they waited a minute, and I'm like, finally, sure enough, there he is. Stone Cold comes out. Awesome. Stone Cold comes out, and he starts talking. And he shakes hands with Hogan. He's like, if you want me to beat up Hulk Hogan, give me a hell yeah. And they're like, hell yeah. I'm like, yeah, you cheered the motherfucker a minute ago. Now you want Hogan to open up a can of whoop ass on him. Which, yeah, the motherfucker deserves it, but whatever. But yeah, there's more talking. Stone Cold don't want to do it, whatever. And then all of a sudden, The Rock's music hits. And I'm like, motherfucker, seriously? Him too? Once again, kind of a delay, but sure enough, out comes Rock. And he gets in the ring after, going up on all the turnbuckles, raising his arm like he always does. He hugs Hogan and he hugs Austin. And he starts talking. And he references, there's a guy who later on is going to be fighting for his legacy. Obviously, he's referring to Cena, and the crowd is like, boo, fuck that. And then, Rock says, what the fuck did he say? There's also a guy fighting to become the face of the company or something like that. Obviously referencing Bryan, and of course, the crowd, yay, Bryan, and everything. Anyways, the segment ends when all three of them run through their catchphrases. Rock does the, if you smell what the Rock is cooking, and Stone Cold says, and that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so, and Hogan's like, what you gonna do, brother Jack dude? Ugh. And then they have beers on Austin, which basically just serves to soak the ring in beer for no reason. And you can see it, it's all over the ring mat. The three of them finally leave, and we get hype for the Bryan and Triple H match, which, as I kind of thought would happen, is actually the first match. But yeah, we get hype for the match, and then we see a video package. It goes through, like the whole thing with Bryan, starting with like the training in Shawn Michaels' school, and the NXT clips and everything, him going against The Miz and all this other shit. They kind of skipped over the Nexus stuff. I'm guessing they want to forget about that. But then, of course, it had to come to the part where Triple H beat the ever-loving shit out of him with his fucking hands cuffed behind his back. But anyways, the video package ends, and Roberts introduces Stephanie, who's standing in the middle of the ring. And she basically just introduces Triple H. And Triple H gets this ridiculous, grandiose entrance. He's sitting on this throne, and I think this might have been the same throne that they used a couple of years ago. But he's sitting on this throne, looking like Shao Kahn, with a fucking skull mask with a crown on top, and he's got this big cloak on, and he's got like 3 blonde chicks sitting around his throne in like basically bikinis, and I'm wondering how Steph allowed that. But he stands up, and the chicks take his cloak off, and then the lights go off, and then Triple H's time to play the game music, not the King of Kings, but the play the game music plays, and Triple H comes down, and he goes through his normal entrance and what the fuck up. And then Bryan's music hits. He doesn't get any special entrance or anything. He comes out, but his shoulder is bandaged. Because, of course, his shoulder was fucked up during that beatdown. You know, the cuffing beatdown and everything. And we finally get the match. Triple H starts off by putting his hand out like he wants to shake hands. Obviously, Bryan ain't falling for it. He kicks the hand away. And I think he immediately went for a roll-up on Triple H and only got a 2. They brawled for a minute. Triple H got thrown outside. And Bryan hit a tornado DDT from the apron to the floor. He dove off the apron onto Triple H, caught him, turned him tornado DDT onto the floor. And then, let's see, Bryan went up to the top rope. Triple H is still on the outside. And Bryan comes flipping off, flips senton on top of Triple H and wipes him out. They go back inside the ring, and Bryan goes up top, but gets crotched. And I'm trying to give you the cliff notes because there was a lot of stuff going on. A lot of, you know, basic stuff, punch kick wrestling and, like, you know, rest holds and shit. There was a big headlock that went on for a while that Bryan was doing on Triple H. I didn't bother to write that down. But anyways, Triple H clears off the announcer table. And by the way, there's 3 of them tonight. There's the regular announcer table, there's the Spanish announce table, and because they're in New Orleans, they decided to have a French announce table. So yeah, there's 3 of them. And only one of them gets broken. Just to let you know. But we'll get to that. Let's see, like I said, Triple H clears off the announcer table, and he goes to pedigree Bryan on the table, but Bryan gets out of it, but Triple H counters and basically does like an arm wringer slam, slamming Bryan shoulder first on his hurt shoulder onto the table. It doesn't break the table, but he just slams Bryan down, and it looked like it hurt like a motherfucker. Triple H, of course, works the arm for a while. Bryan tries to come back for a minute. He gets Triple H outside and goes for the suicide dive. But Triple H stops it. He basically just jumps up and punches him in the face, whatever the fuck. Alright. Triple H did an arm wrench suplex. Like he got Bryan's hurt arm in a hammer lock, and then got his other arm over his shoulder, lifted him up, and just slammed him straight down on the hurt arm, on the apron of the ring. So that was kind of interesting. Back in the ring, Triple H locks in a cross-face chicken wing, which is basically just like a standing hammer lock with your other arm going around the dude's head. Neck, basically. But whatever. He transitions this down into the crippler crossface. Yeah. So, Bryan gets a rope break, and he goes for his comeback combo. But when he goes to do the backflip off of the top rope like he always does, Triple H doesn't fall for it. Bryan lands in front of him from the backflip, and Triple H goes for a German suplex. But Bryan does a go-behind and does his own German suplex. I think he did 2 of them. They were going up to the top rope, and I think Triple H was trying to, like, superplex Bryan. But Bryan counters it into a super sunset flip bomb from the top rope. And when Triple H hit, it looked like he smacked his head on the mat, and it looked like possible concussion. Not that I really care if he gets a concussion, but it looked fucking sick. Bryan starts doing his corner drop kicks. He gets 2 of them, and then he goes for a third, and Triple H storms out of the corner, the big clothesline that turns Bryan inside out, you know, the big flipping around spot. Triple H goes for the pedigree, but it gets countered into a roundhouse kick. And then Bryan went for the headbutt, the big diving headbutt from the top rope, but Triple H got a knee up, a knee that drove into Bryan's hurt shoulder. And then Triple H goes right into the crossface again, the crippler crossface. I think what happened was Bryan was trying to get to the ropes, but he couldn't really. He tried to roll Triple H into like a pin, but Triple H rolled through it and kept it locked in, and so he was even further away from the ropes. Was finally able to counter it into a pin, and then broke it, and as they broke the pin, Bryan went into the S-lock. But Triple H got to the ropes, and then he crawled out of the ring, and Bryan does the suicide dive, and then he does the suicide dive again, and he still nails it. And then he gets Triple H up against the barricade on the outside. He's doing the chest kicks up against the barricade, throws him back into the ring, comes down off the top rope with the big front missile drop kick, more repeating chest kicks, and he hits the roundhouse too. And Bryan goes to do the knee, but the big super running knee, but as he runs at Triple H catches him into his big spine buster. And then Triple H gets Bryan up, he sets him up for the pedigree, and he plants him with it. He hits the pedigree, but he makes the cover, and he only gets 2. Bryan kicks out of the pedigree. And this is basically the finish of the match. After the pedigree and the kick out, Triple H picks him up and goes for the pedigree again, but Bryan spins out of it, hits a roundhouse kick, which staggers Triple H. Bryan runs into the corner, bounces off, comes running, hits the big super fucking knee, knocks Triple H the fuck out, cover 1, 2, and 3, Bryan fucking wins. Thank you very much. Again, just as I predicted. Bryan's celebrating, not for long, as Stephanie gets into the ring and starts slapping Bryan. She slaps him once, slaps him again, slaps him with the other hand, and then the other hand again, and Triple H clobbers Bryan from behind. And he starts beating on Bryan, and he gets him over by the corner post. And again, this is just shoulder shit, so he's got his arm sticking out around the post, and Triple H grabs a chair and whacks Bryan's arm with the chair. And so they're basically just like, okay, fuck you, if I can't beat you, I'm gonna make sure you can't win the title. So whatever. But after that, Triple H and Stephanie leave, and the referees have to help Bryan out as he's, selling his arm. Got kind of an interesting thing coming up after that. I think I went to the bathroom, and I heard Road Dogg talking. So obviously the Outlaws are coming out. But it didn't go for very long, as all of a sudden, the Shield music hits. And the 3 of them come out. And I actually noticed they had on, their normal gear, but they also had on these little face mask things. Like, I think I know exactly what they are. They're called neoprene face masks, and they're actually the half style. It kind of looks like the Mortal Kombat ninjas, how they have the little mask that covers like their mouth and nose. They have things like this. They're made out of neoprene, which is a very warm material. I actually have a full version of this mask. It's very warm. It's like bikers use them to keep their face warm, like in the winter when they're riding. But yeah, so the Shield guys come out wearing the half versions of these masks, and I think they had, like, dog faces on them or something, because, you know, they're the Hounds of Justice. It looked awesome, though. But yeah, the Shield comes out, and that interrupts the Outlaws, and so then Kane's music and pyro hits, and he comes out with the Outlaws. And so it's obviously time for the Shield versus Kane and Outlaws match. This match was a hell of a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, but it still turned out to be a nice match. Oh, and did I mention that Triple H and Bryan was a good match? Yeah. Bryan won, so that was good, of course. But yeah. We had some stuff at the beginning of Shield and Kane and Outlaws. Roman Reigns cleans house. He was beating the shit out of Kane and the Outlaws. Cleared house. He got both the Outlaws necked on the ropes. Road Dogg was on the bottom rope and Billy was like on the middle rope. And Reigns gets out of the ring, comes around the corner, and jumps up and does his apron drop kick. And with one foot, he hits both Road Dogg and Billy in the face. So that was kind of funny. Reigns also did the Superman punch on somebody. I didn't see who. Kane went for the choke slam, but I guess Rollins came flying in from the apron or whatever and broke it. And we had a clusterfuck. Billy wound up by himself in the ring, surrounded by all three members of the Shield. But then he got pulled out by Road Dogg and Kane, only for Rollins and Ambrose to do a double-team suicide dive to wipe out both Billy and Road Dogg. Kane got in the ring and got speared by Reigns. And then Reigns strikes again. He spears both Billy and Road Dogg at the same time. So a double spear. Jesus. And then we get another dub spot. Ambrose and Rollins get Billy and Road Dogg up, both of them up on Reigns' shoulders, and we get a double Fall of Justice powerbomb. Both of the Outlaws powerbombed at the same time. This was fucking awesome. And of course, you're not getting up after that. I think Reigns covered one of the Outlaws and gets the win. So the Shield wins. The match was fairly quick. They came in and fucking dominated Kane and the Outlaws. This was basically a squash match, but it was awesome. So there's my first failed prediction. I thought the Shield was going to break up and they were going to screw over Reigns. Nope. Shield's still together, which I'm cool about, because I wanted them to stay together anyways. Seriously, there's so much stuff you can do with them as a face faction now. You know, there's so many people you can have them beat up. But anyways, we cut backstage to the locker room, and there's Sergeant Slaughter and Jim Duggan playing with some of these new toys. And already I'm just like, oh god, no. Ricky Steamboat comes up. Whatever the fuck. And then all of a sudden some dick in a suit comes up and grabs the toys and runs off with them, and he says these belong to somebody else now. And he goes over to the one side, and from the same side in comes Ted DiBiase. And he goes, haven't you figured it out? Even at WrestleMania, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man. Ha 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 ha. And he leaves, and then Ron Simmons comes up, and he's like, damn! And that's it. So, what in the fuck with this stupid goddamn segment? Let's plug our toys and put as many legends in there as possible. Ugh. We cut back to the arena where the Big Show's music hits. Obviously, it's time for the big Andre Battle Royal. As Show is coming to the ring, because the frickin' ramp is so damn long, we cut back to the ring, and there's a shitload of people in the ring already. And after Big Show finishes his entrance, Sheamus gets his entrance too. So Big Show and Sheamus are the only two to actually get entrances. And then we get the Battle Royal itself. And I had to write down all of the eliminations because I had to keep track of all the people who were in it, and as well as the 3 mystery people who we found out. But, you know, I've got all the eliminations, and aside from that, I didn't take really that much notes aside from any, like, big moves. Because it was basically just a big brawl and a clusterfuck. Like, everybody started in the ring at the same time and just started brawling immediately. First one eliminated is Yoshitatsu. I don't remember if he was announced to be in the ring or in the thing. Let me look back over my notes here. No. Yoshi was not announced, so he was one of the mystery people. And he was also the first one eliminated. And then Brad Maddox got eliminated. And then Brodus Clay got eliminated. Was he in it? Yeah, he was announced. Khali got eliminated. Zack Ryder got eliminated. And then Drew McIntyre and Jinder Mahal got eliminated, followed by Heath Slater. And then Mark Henry got eliminated. Titus O'Neil got eliminated. Miz got eliminated. Was Darren Young in there somewhere? Yeah, Darren Young was in there. Huh. I must have missed his elimination because I think they did say he got eliminated at some point. Titus eliminated, Miz eliminated, Santino got eliminated, and then Damian Sandow got eliminated. Justin Gabriel gets eliminated, and then Big E got eliminated. And then Fandango, the whole thing with Fandango. Fandango actually eliminated Big E, and they were both out on the apron. And Johnny's dancing around out on the apron like a dumbass, and then he got clocked by somebody. No, wait, he got grabbed by Sheamus. And Sheamus puts his arms in the ropes and just starts clubbing the fuck out of him, repeatedly, going on and on, far past the 10 count. And he gets done with it, and Johnny's so whipped from the clubbing, Sheamus just kind of pushes him off the apron, and he falls out, and he's eliminated. So, great way to make Johnny look like shit, assholes. Fucking douchebags. R-Truth got eliminated, and then Tyson Kidd, who was another one of the mystery entrants, I think. Tyson Kidd gets eliminated, and then Goldust got eliminated, followed by his brother Cody, who got eliminated. And then Rey Mysterio was eliminated. Okay, and then something goofy happened. Cesaro was in one of the corners. Kofi came running at him. And Cesaro flapjack threw him over the top rope, over the corner. And Kofi comes down, lands feet first on the ring steps, and turns and falls and lands on his back. But his feet are still on the bottom step of the ring steps. And so he's not technically eliminated. And he's able to get back into the ring. Motherfucker. Doesn't matter. He gets back in the ring and gets stuck in the swing by Cesaro. And then Big Show hits a chokeslam on Cesaro. And then Sheamus hits a brogue kick on Big Show. And then Kofi got eliminated somehow. I didn't remember it, but whatever. And then Dolph Ziggler got eliminated. And then Del Rio locks the arm breaker in on Sheamus. And Sheamus picks him up and starts taking him over towards the ropes, throws him over the top rope, but they both go over and they're both eliminated. So Sheamus and Del Rio are both eliminated. And that leaves Big Show and Cesaro as your final two. They fight around for a minute, and trying to remember exactly what happened. Big Show had Cesaro up on his shoulder and was going to throw him out. Cesaro slipped down the back, turned Big Show around, and actually picked him up. Yeah, Cesaro picked Big Show up, chucked him over the top rope, and eliminated Big Show. So Cesaro actually wins. And Big Show even had to be cool, and he puts his hand out from out on the floor to shake Cesaro's hand, and Cesaro shakes it. I'm guessing they're trying to put Cesaro over as a face. So yeah, Cesaro wins the Andre Battle Royal, and he gets the big trophy, he holds it up, and it's... Jesus Christ. After that, we check in with the French announcers. I don't speak French, so I don't know what the fuck they said. And then we see the video package for Bray and Cena again. And that of course segues into it's time for the match. We cut up to the stage, and there's this chick with a couple of machetes, and she's in this weird tribal thing. I'm guessing it's either like a voodoo or some sort of shit, and there's this weird altar behind her with fire and shit, but she starts dancing with these machetes and shit, and there's fire going off, and there's this drum music hit going off, and this segues into Bray Wyatt's entrance, and it, you know, after the chick gets done with her dance, it cuts up to the Titantron, and there's Bray wearing like this brown sleeveless, it looks like a trench coat, but it's like a brown leather coat with no sleeves. And he's wearing a black fedora this time, his little fedora that he normally wears. And he's like, New Orleans, we here, and they come out. And of course he comes out with Harper and Rowan. And he also comes out with a band playing his music. And the band are in these goofy goddamn outfits. Most of them are wearing these big... Again, it's New Orleans, so they have this goofy-ass, like, masquerade ball shit. And so two of the band members are wearing these big masks with these big pointed noses. And, the singer has, like, on skull face paint with... And they're all wearing fedoras, too. And, But yeah, so Bray gets a band playing his music, and this interesting chick doing a machete dance with fire and this weird altar thing. Good lord. And then Cena comes out. He doesn't get a special entrance. His music plays like normal. He comes out. Whatever. And he gets booed, by the way, of course. And, of course, the match starts. The start of the match, Bray gets down on his knees and holds out his arms. He's doing his stupid little pose thing. And he says, you know, come on, John, I want you to finish me. Come on, finish me. And Cena's looking at him and he's like, get up. I don't want to fight you like this, get up. But it's just more of this stupid psychology shit. Bray finally gets up and they start fighting, and there's dueling chants going back and forth. And for the first couple of minutes, it's just Bray beating the hell out of Cena. And I think Bray went for like an avalanche in the corner, but Cena explodes out of the corner, hits a big fucking clothesline. And Cena's pissed off now. He's starting to get angry. And I think at one point Bray was down in the corner, and Harper came over to like try and help him out, and Bray's like, no, don't help, I can do this. You and Harper, you and Rowan stand down and shit. And Bray makes his comeback. He gets Cena up like a suplex and then just throws him. I think he's done that before. Cena does his ugly fucking drop kick, and then Bray locks in a sleeper hold. And then Cena does his comeback combo, you know, the shoulder tackles, and then the protoplex, right. And Cena was going to do the 5-knuckle shuffle. He slams him down with the protoplex, and then he hits the ropes, and as he's coming back to drop the fist, Bray goes up into his weird crab walk position, and this freaked the shit out of Cena, because he jumps back and he falls on his ass. Stupid as... It's not scary! You wuss! But anyways, Bray gets up and grabs Cena and does the big Uranagi rock bottom slam thing. And then Bray does the big, the corner avalanche, the big splash in the corner. And Cena goes up to the top and comes out with the big tornado DDT he's been doing lately. And then Cena goes back up to the top rope to go for the big leg drop bulldog thing. But he jumps off, and Bray catches him, powerbomb. And I'm like, shit, didn't Batista do that and it broke Cena's neck? That was a few years ago, but yeah. But Bray catches him and powerbombs him and goes right into a cover with it. Only gets a 2, obviously. Cena gets up and does the protoplex. And then he hits the 5-knuckle shuffle. And he goes for the attitude adjustment, but Bray counters it. He slips down the back and then picks Cena up like a back suplex into the tilting rib breaker thing. The tilt-a-whirl down into the rib breaker shit. Alright, and then the both of them wound up on the apron. And Cena went to do an attitude adjustment on the apron, but Bray got out of it, grabbed Cena, and DDT'd him on the apron. Okay, right. Cena got Bray down in the ring. And Cena goes up to the top rope. It looks like he's going to go for the leg drop bulldog thing again. But then he decides, I'm going to jump down on Harper and Rowan for no reason. Yeah, he just dives crossbody and wipes out Harper and Rowan. And then, of course, Bray recovers, grabs Cena, throws him into the ring steps. And then he goes to pick up the top part of the ring steps, and he goes to hit Cena with it, but Cena stopped him somehow, just kind of punched him and whatever. And then he throws Bray into the corner post. And then Cena picks up the ring steps, and he's going to hit Bray with it, and he thinks about it, and the ref's even telling him, you're going to get DQ'd, you can't do this. And so Cena throws down the steps, he don't want to do it. Goes back into the ring, and Bray does his ugly crossbody thing where he comes running and just kind of like cross chops him or whatever the fuck. But he's got Cena down, and then he goes for the Husky Harris special, the running senton on the mat. But Cena gets out of the way, and he gets up, and he gets Bray up, and he hits the attitude adjustment. And Bray kicks out at 2. Rowan distracts the referee, and Harper kicks Cena in the face from the apron. Bray gets a cover, but only gets 2. Out on the outside of the ring, Cena got thrown out. And then Cena charges Harper and spears him through the barricade over by the timekeeper area. And so he does that. Bray comes and grabs Cena and throws him into the ring. And he does his back bend pose in the corner thing. And he grabs Cena and he goes for the Sister Abigail. But Cena drops down and trips Bray and goes into the STF. Bray gets to the ropes, so he gets a rope break. And then he grabs Cena and he hits the Sister Abigail really quick. And he covers him, and he only gets 2. Somebody cleared off the Spanish announce table. Oh, right, it was Bray. He cleared off the Spanish announce table, and then he grabbed a chair. And he got in the ring with the chair, and the ref's like, no, you can't do this. But then all of a sudden, there's Rowan on the apron again, distracting the ref. And Bray just kind of throws the chair, he just kind of slides it across the apron, the ring mat, at Cena. He just gives Cena the chair. And once again, Bray gets down on his knees and puts his arms out, and he's posing, and he's like, come on, John, finish me. Become the monster, and all this shit. The referee finally turns around, and he's looking, and He's like, no, you're going to get disqualified, whatever. But Cena goes over top Bray and clocks Rowan with the chair. And knocks Rowan off the apron. Bray rolls Cena up and only gets a 2. And then Bray goes for the Sister Abigail again. And Cena gets out of it, gets Bray up, hits the Attitude Adjustment again. And Cena gets the win. Yeah, Cena wins, just like I said. It was a long match. It was boring as fuck. I don't give a shit about either one of these guys. But you know what? The match was at least okay. Considering I didn't care about either one of them. It got some good time and they put in some good spots. I still don't like either one of them. But it was an okay match. But just as I predicted, Cena won. I don't know if they really put Bray over all that well. But yeah, the Wyatts, Harper and Rowan, they have to kind of get Bray between them and their shoulders to get to drag him off, and Cena celebrates. Yeah. And so that's the end of the second page of notes. After that, they have a video package about the Hall of Fame ceremony from last night. And they bring the Hall of Famers out onto the stage. And of course, they introduce each one in turn. The Ultimate Warrior comes out last. He gets his theme song and everything, and he comes out last, and yada yada. Then they cut back to the trainer's office, where there's Daniel Bryan getting attended to by the trainers, the medics trying to check on his shoulder to see if he's okay. Then they cut over to the Spanish announce table, and oh, hey, there's Ricardo Rodriguez again. He's been on the Spanish announce table all night. And then we get the streak video, The Undertaker's streak. And it shows everybody and all the other shit, and the Brock and everything, and Brock's music hits, and he comes out with Heyman to pretty much no reaction, by the way. And Brock gets pyro on the stage. He does his little stepping back and forth thing, and he flecks the thing, and he gets the pyro on the stage. And then as Brock jumps up onto the apron to get into the ring, he gets the corner pyro too. And then lights go out, and it's all blue and moody and everything. And we get the Druids music, and the camera cuts up to the stage. And they brought out 22 fucking caskets. Each one of them numbered and has the name of each person on the casket. So all of Undertaker's opponents that he's defeated at WrestleMania, and like I said, there's 22 of them. The last one says Brock Lesnar. And then, of course, Taker's music hits, and he comes out wearing this new outfit. It's, at first I thought, okay, he's wearing like his old black leather trench coat with his normal big fedora top hat. But no. When he finally got his old ass into the ring and the lights came back on, it lights up and I can see, okay, the trench coat is actually half brown. It's like, what are they called? Oh shit. My damn vocabulary fails me again. But either way, there's like some stripes going down the sides, and the, what are they called? The part where it folds at the top in the neck area with the collar and the... I swear, it's right on the tip of my tongue. I can't fucking think of it. Lapels. That's what it is. The lapels. The lapels are like brown, and there's all these like rivets and buttons and everything. It's... I don't know why the hell they put brown in there. But there's also like a brown leather strap around his hat. Around the top, the headpiece. Not around the brim, but around the head part. There's a brown leather thing around there with more buttons and rivets and shit, so it looked cool. And of course, Taker gets some pyro too. Of course, his fire on the stage, and I think when he did his pose on the corner steps and raised his arms and the lights come back on, I think there was more pyro then. Pretty big entrance. And then we get one of the most boring, slow-paced, punch-kick, weak-ass wrestling match I think Undertaker has ever put on. There were hardly any damn spots in this match, and it went on for a good 20-25 minutes, something like that. I didn't time it because I don't have a stopwatch, and even if I did, I probably still wouldn't have timed it. But I'll just run through the spots real quick. Taker goes for the chokeslam early, but Brock, as Taker lifts him up, Brock slips down the back, lands on his feet, picks Taker up for the F5, but Taker slipped out of it. They brawled around for a while. Like I said, there was a lot of punch kick shit. They brawled around on the outside a bunch. It was really weak. Until finally, back in the ring, Taker comes running after Brock whipped him into the ropes. Taker comes running and does his grabbing DDT. You know, he plants him with that. And Taker does his comeback combo, which is, you know, he does the snake eyes in the corner and he hits the big running boot and then his running leg drop Hogan style and shit. And he even choke slams Brock. But apparently Brock got up and he gets Undertaker up and he hits the F5 on him. And Taker kicks out at 2. Of course. And Taker's down. He's still wiped out after the F5. And Brock goes to grab him, and Taker locks him in the Hell's Gate. And of course, this is like right up Brock's alley, because this is like a MMA kind of thing. And of course, Brock locks his hands together. He's got him around Taker's legs, and he lifts Taker up and basically powerbomb slams him down, and that breaks the hold. So Taker's wiped out again. Brock goes to grab him and pick him up again, and of course, again, Taker locks in the Hell's Gate again. And of course, what else happens? But Brock lifts him up and powerbomb slams him again to get out of it. And then I think Brock wisened up. He's like, no, okay, I'm not going to do it this way again. He goes over around the other side, and he locks the Kimura lock on Taker. And so he's wrenching on Taker's arm, but Taker reversed it somehow into his own Kimura lock. And Brock had to grab the ropes to get the break. After that, Taker got up, and he grabs Brock by the arm ringers him, goes into the corner. Of course, he's going for the old school. He gets up, he walks along the rope a couple of steps, and then Brock grabs him, pulls him down onto his shoulders, and hits the F5 again. And Brock covers him and still only gets 2. So that's 2 F5s now that Taker has kicked out of. Brock grabs Taker, gets him up, and does a German suplex on him. Holds on to him, gets him up, hits another German suplex. I think Brock had Taker in the corner and was doing like, you know, I'm going to get up and mount him and do the corner repeating punches spot, right? Taker grabs him and gets him up. Last Ride comes running out of the corner and slams him down with the Last Ride powerbomb. He gets Brock up, gets him up for the tombstone, and he plants him with it, and only gets 2. So now Brock has kicked out of the tombstone. Taker does his Jason Voorhees, I'm gonna sit up spot, and he looks over at Brock. And he gets up, and he gets Brock up, and he goes for the tombstone again. But Brock I guess there was too much momentum. Brock came back down, and it looked like Brock was going to give The Undertaker the tombstone, but no. He gets Taker up again on his shoulders. He gets Taker up on his shoulders for the F5 again, and he hits it. And he covers Taker. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that just happened. Brock Lesnar just pinned The Undertaker at WrestleMania. The crowd fucking shocked. Like, seriously, there's camera guys getting shots. People are shocked. They don't know what the fuck they just saw. There's no music. There was no official announcement from the ring announcer just yet. They're just shocked. And Heyman comes over and he gets in the ring and he's holding Brock and he's like, "You did it, Brock, you did it." And finally, finally, Roberts gets on the mic and he's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Brock Lesnar." And the graphic comes up on the big Jumbotron and everything, 21-1. Taker just fucking lost at WrestleMania to Brock Lesnar. And finally, as Brock and Heyman start to leave, Brock's music finally starts to play. It's just dead silence up until then. Everybody was shocked. They could not believe that just happened. Back in the ring, Taker's still flat on his back. He hasn't hardly moved. Heyman and Brock are already basically gone. Taker tries to set up again, but he can't. He kind of falls over to the side. He sets up again, and this time he takes his sweet goddamn time going through all of this shit. He gets up, and the announcers, the commentators, they get up, and they're all clapping for Taker, and they're like, you know, "Bravo, motherfucker, true gladiator," and all this shit. And, the crowd, of course, finally it sets in and they're like, "Okay, we gotta give the guy a standing ovation," you know. And Taker finally gets out of the ring and starts leaving. And they finally start playing his music to have him go out, you know, whatever. And he leaves. There's more smoke on the stage and he just leaves. Cannot believe Undertaker just lost. After that, they have a graphic or whatever that says WrestleMania 31 next year is going to be in Silicon Valley, California. And after we come back from that, the Divas are in the ring. Yeah, they're going to have the Divas Invitational match after the kick in the nuts we just took from Brock beating Undertaker. Why the fuck didn't the Divas match come before that? But anyways, all the Divas are in the ring except AJ. AJ's music hits and she comes out. And once they all get in the ring, Vicky Guerrero is over there on like a... I think they repainted Rusev's little goofy step stand thing. Vicky's got a mic, and she screams, "I want to wish good luck to everybody, especially AJ." Ugh. Keep the microphones away from that shrill-voiced cunt. Good Lord. Jesus Christ. So anyways, the match starts. We've got all 14 of the Divas in the ring, and it starts out, it's basically just a flat-out brawl of a clusterfuck. Bodies are flying everywhere, we got chicks brawling with each other in the corners. The crowd starts booing the match. They're probably still in shock over the Undertaker thing, but they're booing the match. Alicia Fox hits her ugly scissors kick on Emma. And then we get Most of the Divas wound up on the outside of the ring over by the ramp. And the two Bellas are in the ring, and they both do a suicide dive at the same time on top of the crowd of the other Divas, and they all wipe them out. And then the Bellas get back in the ring, and they start fighting with each other. And I think Brie went for the X Factor, which used to be the Bellas' finishing moves. Nikki countered out of it and got Brie up on her shoulders and hit the shock treatment on her. She went for a cover, but it was broken up by Fox and Noxana, or it was broken up either way. More shit going on. Tamina got somebody down and was going to go for her big Snuka ripoff splash, but Naomi basically just shoved her off the top rope. More of a clusterfuck. Tamina wound up wiping out a couple of chicks on the outside, and what ends up happening is AJ ends up in the ring with Naomi. Everybody else is on the outside. AJ gets whipped into the ropes. She comes back, tilt-a-whirls around, locks in the Black Widow on Naomi. And it lasts for about a minute. Naomi finally goes down. She's on her knees, flat on her face. She has to tap out. And as I said, AJ wins and retains the Divas title. And she even jumps out of the ring and goes and grabs the belt away from Vicky, who apparently been holding it the whole damn time. So AJ wins and retains. I predicted that. We cut backstage to Mean Gene Okerlund, who introduces Hulk Hogan. And as soon as he started Hulk Hogan, I'm like, okay, he's gonna come in, let me tell you something, Mean Gene, brother. And he fucking does. Let me tell you something, Mean. I'm like, you motherfucker, get a new line, you old fucking hack. Jesus. Hogan's talking, and then up comes Paul Orndorff and Roddy Piper. And they're all talking. And then up comes Mr. T, who was obviously there because of the Hall of Fame thing earlier. And then up comes Pat Patterson wearing an old school referee outfit. You know, the pale blue shirt with the bow tie. Because apparently Patterson was the referee in the match between Hogan and Mr. T versus Orndorff and Piper from the very first WrestleMania. All four of them shake hands, and I was like, Jesus Christ, what in the fuck with this shit? We're just bringing up old history for no good reason. I don't know why they think they needed to do it, but whatever. And then they cut back down into the arena, and they start showing all these other Hall of Famers from past years that are sitting around. They're in the crowd, basically in the front row, but there's Bret Hart, and there's Bruno Sammartino, and some others I didn't really remember. It's finally time for the last fucking match. And all of a sudden, there's Rev Theory on the stage. You know, the band that plays Randy Orton's music. They play his music as Randy comes to the ring. Yes, the champion comes to the ring first. So, Randy gets a live band to play his music. Randy basically came out to no reaction again. And then Batista's music hits, and he comes out to boos at first, and then nothing. And he doesn't even get his pyro when he does his little fucking pose. Nothing. There was no pose, no pyro, no nothing. He don't get shit. And while he's coming out, the announcers also say, our next pay-per-view is going to be the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. And that will be in, I think they said it was East Rutherford, New Jersey, the Izod Center, the same place the night after WrestleMania happened last year. So, yeah. And then Daniel Bryan's music hits. And he comes out, and he's still shoulder taped and hurt and everything. And he gets in the ring, and we get the big match introductions from Justin Roberts. And it's time for the triple threat WWE World Heavyweight Championship match. And this match also turned out to be good. Again, I'm trying to keep it as short as possible because, oh my god, I'm sitting here and my back is killing me. Okay, let's see if we can just finish this out. They brawl around for a while, and basically Orton and Batista are trying to keep Bryan out of the match. So they throw him out of the ring, and they try to whack him and shit. Let's see. On the outside of the ring, Batista gets the ring steps cleared off or whatever, and he gets the bottom of them. And he goes to give Randy the Batista bomb onto the steps. And since it's a triple threat match, it's no DQ and no count out and shit, so. But Batista goes to powerbomb him on the steps, but Randy counters and backdrops him, and Batista lands on the steps. So, yeah, ouch. Back in the ring, Randy does the Garvin Stomp. And then Bryan came out of nowhere from the top rope doing a big double front missile dropkick, hitting both Randy and Batista. And after that, Bryan goes back and forth, dueling kicks. One kick to Randy, one kick to Batista, back and forth and back and forth. And he does the roundhouse kick on Batista, and then he goes to do it on Randy, and Randy catches him into that, like, not head and arm, but the leg capture suplex thing that he's been doing lately. He nails that. Bryan goes back and forth with dueling corner drop kicks. Randy's in one corner, Batista's in the opposite corner, and Bryan's going back and forth and back and forth. Batista gets wiped out, and so Bryan gets Randy up top and does the Super Frankensteiner on him. And then Batista from the apron suplexes Bryan all the way out of the ring to the floor, which takes Bryan out for a while. Orton does a superplex on Batista. And then Bryan came out of nowhere with something. I don't remember. I didn't see it. And Bryan locks in the yes lock on Orton. And then the camera looks over into the crowd, and there's Triple H and Stephanie coming through, and they get into the ringside area. And Triple H knocks out the referee. And Batista hits a spine buster on Bryan. And then out of nowhere, there's Scott Armstrong, the referee, the crooked referee from a while back that Triple H supposedly fired. He's back. Batista hits the Batista bomb on Bryan. And Armstrong counts, nice fair count, 1, 2, and Bryan kicks out. And Triple H and Stephanie are like, what the fuck, that should have been it, Batista went to charge Bryan, who was in the corner. Bryan got out of the way, and Batista hit his shoulder into the post. And then I think Bryan was laying on his back, and Armstrong came over him, and Bryan just kicked Armstrong in the fucking head and knocked him out. And Armstrong falls out of the ring over there by Triple H and Stephanie. Bryan gets up and he hits the ropes and suicide dive on all three, Triple H, Stephanie, and Armstrong. He wipes all three of them out. And Bryan gets back in the ring. Triple H is all pissed off. You just hit my wife, motherfucker. He goes under the ring and he finds his damn sledgehammer. And he gets up on the apron, but Bryan cracks him. And Triple H drops the sledge. Bryan picks it up, comes charging, and slams Triple H in the face with it and knocks him the fuck out. Somebody went for a roll-up on Batista, but only got a 2 count. Oh, okay. Bryan went to roll up Batista, but Randy broke it up at 2. Okay, that's what happened. And then Batista and Orton double-team Bryan. Like, they're beating the shit out of him on the outside, and since Triple H got clocked with his own sledgehammer, him and Stephanie get taken away by more referees because, they're hurt and, like, okay, we got to get them out of here. And by the way, while they're being taken out, the crowd's like, nah, 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 hey, fuck your face, not Triple H. Randy and Batista clear off both the Spanish announce table and the, let's just call it the English announce table. Clears off both of them, and Randy even sets up the ring steps, both top and bottom parts. He sets them up there. And what ends up happening is, Batista clocks Bryan with one of the monitors from one of the tables, and the crowd starts chanting for Punk. They're like, CM Punk, Punk never comes, by the way, so don't get your hopes up. What ends up happening is Batista gets Bryan up on the English commentary table, and Randy is standing on the steps, which are next to the Spanish commentary table. Batista gets Bryan up for the Batista bomb and slams him down, and simultaneously Randy jumps and catches Bryan in like a neck breaker. They call it an RKO, but I'm like, dumbass, he's facing the wrong way for that to be an RKO. It's a neck breaker. So it's a Batista bomb neck breaker through the Spanish announce table. And I think Randy really got the worst of it because he landed like back first on one of the monitors, and I could even see there was a nasty gash on his back. He was bleeding from his back. Randy's down, Bryan's down. Medics come over to attend to Bryan because obviously he was already hurt, and now Bryan wasn't moving at all. Like, he was just laid out. Randy kind of got up and he's like, fuck my back, and he fell back down, and Batista ends up beating on Randy for a minute. And, of course, the paramedics came over with a stretcher, and they get Bryan on the stretcher, and they start trying to take him away. Meanwhile, Randy ends up hitting the apron-hung DDT to the floor on Batista. After that, back over by the ramp, the paramedics and the stretcher, Bryan's like, no, get off of me. And he pulls all the shit off him. They put him in like a neck brace. He's pulling that shit off. And he's like, no, I can do this. He gets off of the fucking stretcher. And he's down just crawling, trying to get back into the ring. Randy grabs him and throws him into the ring steps. And then throws him into the ring. And the crowd's chanting, Daniel Bryan, Randy threw him into the ring, and he started setting up for the RKO. Okay. He goes to do it, Bryan catches him, gets him down into the yes lock, and it looking like he's about to tap, but Batista breaks it up. And then Bryan grabs Batista and gets him in the yes lock. And again, it's looking like he's going to tap, but no, Randy comes over and breaks it up. Randy goes for the RKO on Batista, but Batista just grabs him and slams him down. And then Batista was going to go to spear Orton, but Randy jumped over it. Batista comes through and he spears Bryan. And then Batista turns around and gets RKO'd by Randy. Randy goes for the cover and only gets 2. Bryan comes back in and hits the super knee on Randy. But then there's Batista who grabs Bryan, throws him out of the fucking ring, and already the crowd's like, no, 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 motherfucker, they're booing. Batista makes the cover on Randy, only gets 2. Randy actually kicked out. I guess that split second of Batista throwing Bryan out was enough for Randy to kick out, which still kind of fucks up that move. But anyways, Batista gets up and he gets Randy up and he hits the Batista bomb on Randy. And then out of nowhere, there's Bryan again, hits the big running knee on Batista. He nails it, he lays him out. But he doesn't go for the cover, no, no, no. He gets the motherfucker on his face, locks him in the goddamn yes lock, and he's cranking on it, and Batista taps out, and Daniel Bryan wins, and is the new WWE World Heavyweight goddamn champion, motherfuckers. Yes! 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 Just like I predicted, thank you very much. Bryan's celebrating. There's huge pyro go off on the stage, and it's awesome. And then there's confetti coming down and shit. Bryan's got both belts, and he's yes, yes, and the crowd chanting along, yes, yes, and the confetti is still coming down. And then all of a sudden, Bryan looks over and he motions into the crowd. And then this little blonde girl gets into the ring, and Bryan hugs her. I don't know who in the hell she is. And then this blonde lady gets in the ring, and I'm like, who in the fuck is this? All I could guess is it's Bryan's sister, and the little girl is Bryan's niece, or would be his sister's daughter. Because, I mean, it's not Bryan's wife, because Bryan is getting married to Brie Bella. So, that's my only thought. It had to have been his sister and his niece. But we get this big emotional celebration. Bryan's hugging his sister and his niece, or whoever they are. And there's still confetti coming down, and Bryan's music playing, and they even get the official little name tag, new WWE World Heavyweight Champion Daniel Bryan. Yes! Yes, and that's how the show goes off the air. Nothing else. No CM Punk. No Triple H coming back. That's it. That's the end of WrestleMania. And so, yeah. Just like I predicted, I have to say, for 6 fucking hours, including the pre-show, of course, this is one of the worst WrestleManias I've seen. Most everything was predictable, and like I said, the only good thing was Daniel Bryan winning the title. It was a huge shock that Undertaker actually lost to Brock. That was a huge shock. Some of the people were thinking, like, Undertaker forgot to kick out. They fucked up the ending or something. I don't know. But still, that's a huge shock to see Undertaker lose to a part-timer like Brock. A guy like Brock who don't even really care about the business. Seriously, like I said before, Taker's streak at Mania should have been... The only way it should have been broken is by some new, relatively new guy that they really wanted to put over as the future of the company. Not to some shithead like Brock, who doesn't care about the business. All he cares about is the money. And he's a part-timer anyways. So what does this really accomplish, having Brock end the streak? It accomplishes probably getting The Undertaker to retire, because I can't see him coming back now. You know, people were thinking, oh, next year they're going to do Undertaker and Sting. Well, I don't think that's going to be a possibility now, because Undertaker's streak is broken. There's no point for him to keep going. Undertaker will probably officially announce his retirement tomorrow night on Raw. Not that I'm really sad about that, because he's needed to retire for a while. But Jesus. Giving the streak to Brock. What the fuck? Anyways, let's go over it one more time and compare to our predictions. In the pre-show, the Usos were successful in retaining the tag titles. I did predict that. Daniel Bryan did beat Triple H to get into the title match, so I did predict that. The Shield was actually able to beat Kane and the Outlaws. Of quite quickly, like I said, so I actually got that one wrong. The Andre Battle Royal was actually won by Cesaro, so I got that one wrong too. Alexander Rusev wasn't even in the match at all. Good, because he sucks. So that one goes to Cesaro. Cena actually did beat Bray Wyatt, which I did predict, so I was right about that one. Brock actually managed to beat The Undertaker and end the streak. So that one I got wrong. I still cannot believe that. The fans, the crowd, they were shocked. Like, it was so quiet after the match. They were stunned. They didn't know what to think. They didn't know what to say. Jesus. And then the Divas Invitational, AJ did win and retain her title, which I did predict, so I got that one right. And then the Triple Threat, Orton, Batista, and Daniel Bryan, which Daniel Bryan did win, just as I predicted, so yes, I got that one right as well. And so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of 8 I got correct, and 3 I got wrong. So yeah, overall, like I said, this is still one of the worst WrestleManias I've seen. Even with Bryan winning, that's great, don't get me wrong. But like I said before, that's the one light shining in darkness. None of this other shit even mattered to me. And then they kick me in the balls with having Undertaker lose to Brock. What the fuck? You see that? My bullshit allergies are going off. But yeah, that was WrestleMania 30, folks. Really was not that good, aside from Daniel Bryan winning the title. But I knew he was going to win it. They just couldn't possibly fuck that up. After so many months of building him up, and the teasing with the bait and switch, and having him beat Cena at SummerSlam, only to have Randy cash in and have Triple H double cross him, they had to have him win here at WrestleMania. They had to. They would have fucked themselves so hard if they didn't. And I even saw a sign in the crowd that said, if Bryan loses, we riot. Well, good news, you don't have to riot, because Bryan won. Thank God. But seriously, like I said, Bryan winning is still the only light shining in darkness. The rest of this pay-per-view, I didn't care much about it, but it still mostly sucked. I mean, yeah, the tag team title Fatal 4-way match was a decent match. It was, what did I say it was again? Was it good? It was a nice match, okay? And then we had Triple H and Bryan, which was a good match. And The Shield basically squashing Kane and the Outlaws, which was a nice match. The Battle Royal was just a giant clusterfuck. And having Cesaro win, that was cool. But it was still just a clusterfuck of a match. Cena beating Bray, the match was boring, but I guess it was okay. Again, I didn't really care about either one of these guys, so whatever. And then having Brock and Taker, the match was seriously boring as hell. There was like pretty much no psychology, nothing. Brawling, punch kick, boring shit. Until they finally decided to start wrapping things up with the big spots. And then the Divas clusterfuck of a match. That one was pretty crap, honestly. It really was. But then again, the Divas matches are always crap. Can we seriously get rid of half of these girls and bring in some girls who can actually wrestle? I'm really sick of watching this shitty train wreck of diva matches every damn week. It's getting old. And then, of course, the Triple Threat title match. That was a good damn match. Yeah. And, of course, Bryan winning. That was great. So yeah, there's the quick recap. Holy shit, man. 6 fucking hours. I need to go do something else. I'm tired. I need to go to Walmart and buy some shit. And afterwards, I'm probably going to come home and play Dead Island. So if anybody wants to play with me, I'm on the PS3 version, just so you know. But yeah, that was WrestleMania 30, folks. Wasn't really that good. Taker loses to Brock. And Daniel Bryan wins the WWE World Heavyweight title. So, you get one really bad thing, and then you get one really good thing. Other than that, even the Shield match, I didn't really care about going into it, but I was glad to see them win and stay together. Because, like, seriously, I don't want to see them break up just yet. Obviously, they're going to have to at some point, but you don't have to have it be, oh, Rollins and Ambrose turn heel on Reigns and fuck him over, and you can just have them go their separate ways, you know? Split up peacefully. You know, have them go on as this face faction, you know, dispensing justice. But whatever. That was WrestleMania 30, folks. As I said, it was not that good. So, 6 fucking hours. Are you kidding me? Half of this, you could have eliminated at least an hour or two by, Jesus, all the wasted filler with video packages and recaps. All this other dumb shit. You could have cut the pre-show down to a half an hour like it usually is, and you could have cut the pay-per-view itself down to 3 hours. You could have, like I said, gotten rid of all the pointless video packages that we've already seen because they've already shown all of them on Raw in the weeks leading up to the damn pay-per-view. And they could have showed the ones that they didn't show, they could have showed them during the pre-show. Jesus. This shit did not need to be 6 bloody hours long. Anyways, that's it for the show tonight. Thank you for watching. I suppose I will be watching Raw tomorrow night, because, as I said, Bryan won, so I've got to stick around to see where they go with that. I swear, if they try to take the damn title away from him again tomorrow night, I swear, you motherfuckers had better not. Just let him be champion for a while, please. We'll see if anything interesting happens tomorrow night. Probably Undertaker's retirement, if he's not confronted by Sting. Don't know if that'll happen. We may just yet see the return of CM Punk, although I don't know about that. AJ's still the Divas champion, the Usos are still the tag team champions, so the only title that changed hands was the WWE World Heavyweight title. Because we didn't have any match for the Intercontinental title, and of course didn't have anything for the US title. Yeah. And by the way, are the Outlaws ever going to get their rematch for the tag titles with the Usos? Or did they just forget about that to go against the Shield with Kane? I don't know. Who cares? We will see you tomorrow night for Raw. Please join us then. Thank you again for watching. Holy crap. I have been sitting in this chair for 6 fucking hours. I need to go stretch. So again, thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow night for Raw, and we will see you then.